Racially.
Black fathers are in the home more than any other group or race.
Okay. But what
That has no value?
it does have value, but we're going to put that up against the other statistic. 2/3 of our kids are being raised by the women. 2/3 of our kids are being raised by the women.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, when I say being raised, I'm not saying there needs to be a father. I would like a father in that house,
Yeah.
but I know it's not enough of us to go around.
Yeah.
We are not even being accountable to the boys in the hood. And we're complaining about the women
I argue with women
who
all
are
the
making babies
Yeah,
with the irresponsible men that we didn't raise correctly. That's bullshit.
All right.
That's wimp ass weak man shit. Take responsibility for our shit. Stop scapegoating them.
Yeah, I could agree. I could agree to that.
All I'm saying is look at all we could be doing better. And I'm telling you, black men are responsible for her being masculine because we have not helped her raise them children.
I am
and
not.
when I say help them raise them children, I don't mean you as the stepdad.
No, yeah,
I mean you as an active member in the community. She got masculine because she had to become masculine in order to deal with the rape, the abuse, the domestic violence, the disappointments that men had in her life, and also raising those kids and having to take care of herself all at the same time. The black woman has been the be all in all in our community for half of a century, and now we want to turn around and say because she didn't do it perfectly enough or remain feminine enough when she had to absorb our responsibilities plus her own, that's insensitive and disingenuous.
So what I'm gathering is about the Dr. Umar situation is that no matter what, he should have been there for his child. No matter what, he should have never left his child when you don't know all the facts about it. So every father in history, no matter the race, always just has to be there for their child, which in actuality you do, but we're not going to hold some women accountable for the things that they do to men that are mentally traumatizing, physically traumatizing, and using kids to weaponize and villainize the fathers. So we don't take that into consideration. Like it never happens. Like women being abusive to men is not a thing. When I'm actually a survivor of domestic abuse myself, it just never happens, right? No accountability.
So I recently had a back and forth with this gentleman under his comment section. We did not agree about his statement because, like I was trying to tell him, had Dr. Umar not come so hard on other black men for not being there, knowing he was in the situation he's in, how can he play victim now? My point is, this came out of his mouth. So he responded by saying MLK was a womanizer, but do we not receive his message? And I'm like, well, MLK didn't get on here and say, black men, if you out here womanizing women and not playing your part as the husband of the household, you're this and you're that. And, I don't know if he understood my point, but the point is Dr. Umar has said a lot of things that are very profound, that are very beneficial, that are very good messages. Me personally, I'm not discrediting him for the other stuff he's talked about. The other stuff he's talked about is still good. I mean, he hasn't had a school since he talked about creating one. He ain't really never went in on it. But even till today, some of the things that he say is good. My point is Dr. Umar did not display accountability in this situation. One, he's never came out and said, fathers, y'all not being in the home is destroying our black women, blase, blase, blah. But women, y'all, the ones who keep their children away from their fathers, you know better. You know what I'm saying? He could have actively handled it as like that. He didn't. Nobody even knew Dr. Umar had kids. So for him to keep this secret that long in that aspect, and you can sit comfortably and say what a black father should do, and you're not doing it yourself, is going to give people an opportunity to call you hypocritical. That is a very hypocritical statement. You can't say something and be doing a complete opposite. That's like the Derek Jacksons and the Ace Metaphors and everybody else who say, hey, listen, don't do this and don't do that. And they turn around and do it. That it's just, it was pandering gone wrong, in my opinion, because Dr. Umar does not really hold Black women accountable. You can be able to do both. You can hold Black women accountable and you can hold Black men accountable as well. It is possible to do both, because one Black man who does the right thing is not going to be the same as one incel who ain't. You know, one Black woman is not going to do the same as one hyena. Nobody is ever the same. Right? That's why it's always important, and I say it's always important, to delineate yourself from these type of people. I think a lot of times too, in conversations like this with the DDGs and the CJ So Cools and all the other fathers who are having issues with their baby mamas, ex-wives, whatever the case may be, I think a lot of people who are conversing about these matters are taking these situations as their own. Even in this commentary that this man presented, he said him being a DV survivor himself. So now it's gotten personal. Take the personal part out of it and just discuss it for what it is. In my opinion, Dr. Umar has had plenty of opportunities to have a conversation about this, because it's really important, because the woman he's talking about being turned into being having to be masculine to raise these kids is the same as what your children are experiencing currently. They seen that their father was not in the home. Another father took one of your other daughters, took them on and raised them as a stepdad. And nobody knows what's going on with her sister right now, which is also your daughter. That's the point. If Dr. Umar would have continued speaking like he did in his previous error, when he was talking about how they removed the father from the home and did it based off of, we already know how we got here, right? But if he had conversations like that and then situations like this came out, he would have had a little bit more grace. He actively said, Black men, this is your fault. And he's not exempt. So my point is, he should have done better as someone who attempts to guide people in the right direction. You lose value on what you say when people hold you to a high standard because you come off as that. Versus people who say, listen, this is just my opinion. I'm not a leader of nothing. You get what I'm saying? If Dr. Umar had came out like that, people will say, well, shoot, he ain't trying to be nobody leader, or he not trying to guide people to a side. This man has a whole Pan-Africanist movement. Pan-Africanist movement. He has a whole movement that he's trying to do to get folks to do this and buy a school and do all this stuff. He puts himself in that position. So I just don't think we should give him a pass and scapegoat him because he's Dr. Umar. So what? He also is a hypocrite, in my opinion. Again, if Dr. Umar would have never had said those words in the previous video about what Black fathers do and how it's really not the Black woman's fault, then he should stand on it. No, I wasn't in my daughter's life. It was my fault. I told y'all, as Black fathers, we need to be apart. We dropped the ball. I had both of my baby mamas become masculine because they had to do what they had to do. Blase, blase, blah. If this is what he speaks, this is what he stands on, right? That's his message. He didn't do that. He went straight to, well, let's talk about how this woman is keeping you from me and let's have a conversation and blase, blase, blah. And let's not forget the fact that this young lady said that she inboxed him a few times and he would not talk to her. So there you go, dropping the ball again. If you are nervous about this young lady being just like her mom, because you found out her mom is probably not the best person to communicate with because you actively had a baby by somebody you didn't know, then you could have had the opportunity to have a conversation with her and maybe change her mind about you by responding to her inbox. You didn't do that. You see what I'm saying? It's the opportunities you have. When kids become adults or when kids become a certain age, you could inbox that child and see where their head at is mentally. And like I said in the video before, we seen 50 Cent go through it. We seen a couple of fathers go through it where the woman tries to alter the mentality of the child just to get back at the father. We see it all of the time. So if this little girl was willing to inbox him back in the day to see what's up, he should have took that opportunity to build his own relationship with her. Let's not act like that hasn't happened before, where the child hears the father's side of the story and they have a conversation and they get right. Because I know a lot of fathers who say, let me step off, let me get back. This child is too much like their mama. They have a false sense of who I am as a person based off of their mom's ideology. We see it happen all the time. But again, before a lot of these men found that out, they actively tried to pursue. Like with 50 Cent. He attempted to have a relationship with his son, but his son was too much like his mama. So he had to fall back. He had to fall back and show his son that hard lesson. We see that happen all the time. But according to the daughter, Dr. Umar never tried. And before I even came out with the first video, I waited to see what Dr. Umar had to say. Because when I first heard her say I was Dr. Umar's daughter, I was like, okay, let's wait for the facts to come out. Let's see if this is really his daughter. And the reason why I did that is because there's so many people who come out with so many things, and it's really important to get proof first. So when Dr. Umar said, this is my child, basically by confirming, saying she was clout chasing off of her father's name, that solidified for me, that's his daughter. Okay, cool. We moved on from that. Then now he's saying, well, did you have a conversation with your mom about why I wasn't there? Why didn't you have that conversation with her when she was actively inboxing you throughout the years, according to her? You have not denied that she inboxed you. You not have that. And this is what I'm saying about the accountability aspect. It's not the situation for me. It's how he's handling it, which is him telling on himself. If Dr. Umar came out here and said, yes, this is my daughter. I've actively tried to have a relationship with this young lady, but she chose not to. Okay, now we can have a different conversation. Now we can talk about other things, right? But it's like you didn't try. And as a young lady, I know it has to be heartbreaking seeing your father participate and actively want to help the community to do this, that, and the third, and he's not helping somebody that he helped create, right? And I've seen the clips recently of Dr. Umar's daughter spazzing out, and I'm like, oh, child, it's a mess. The way she is behaving, y'all gotta look at this. Let's do a sidebar real quick.
Y'all gonna have to come out the fucking pockets, because I'm not doing shit for free. 3,500 to 10K is my range. Y'all pay Dr. Umar thousands of dollars to get the fuck on there talk. Y'all gonna pay me the same shit. I just hit 5K on Instagram. The Dr. Umar video was over 200K. I posted 3 videos regarding him. They all hit over 100K in 24 hours or under.
And this is where Double D Mova makes her exit, because shit is getting weird. And I'm not going to be a part of this whole debacle, so this will be my final video on the Dr. Umar biological daughter deadbeat allegations. I'm not going to be a part of this because it's looking real fishy. I told y'all yesterday that I felt like the way Dr. Umar was responding, because he was making it out to be a joke, I felt like it was maybe for clicks and views, and the things that is coming out of his alleged daughter, it appears that this is a money grab, and I can't be a part of those shenanigans. So let's get into the latest. Again, this is my final video. So she posted a video where she alleged, this is from Dr. Umar Johnson, where he is saying that he is disappointed in her online behavior, and he wants to have lunch with her and her mother, and he wants her to text the location. This is what she had to say.
For lunch? You're a fraud. You're a hypocrite. You are everything that you say that you aren't. And you got on live responding to me talking about some struggle stream and talking about some, oh, I'm known in North Philly. If y'all needed to find me, y'all could have found me. Why the what do I have to find you for, sir? When you're my dad. Right? Like, now you want to have a talk because I outed you.
All right, players, black people, we got to do better. She said that she wanted to hold black men accountable, but in my opinion, her conduct, on that live stream, it just, maybe, she does sound like she has a lot of hurt in her, so I'm going to play devil's advocate and say maybe she's just like through with even trying to build a relationship with Dr. Umar and just want to get what she can get out of the situation. Maybe that's what it is, but this is a broader conversation that needed to be had about people conducting themselves one way online and being another way in real life. And this was an opportunity to have that conversation, but I feel like she squandered it with her behavior online. Now, she did say she's going to do an interview with Tasha K. I'm not paying to watch it, but hey, it is what it is. Y'all put it in the comments. It's Double D Muff for the Black Community.
Now, again, everybody saw that Dr. Umar handled that wrong, right? About how he responded. But we also see how his daughter is actively handling it wrong by how she's responded. Oh no, now I want 50,000. Give me 20K. Give me $1 million. Like, girl, what? So now it's just like people want to just step out. Had Dr. Umar actively just said, this is my situation, blah, 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 blah. He kind of hinted it prior. That was in part 1 of this video. He hinted it prior that somebody is going to come for Dr. Umar and blast and say, Daddy, you wasn't there. And when that happened, he could have said, yep, now's the time. I said she was coming. This is what happened. This, that, and the third, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to mend fences now, but it's still going to leave a bad taste in people's mouth anyway. And it's not just this situation. People are still upset about the school. Hello. And nobody ever really has discredited Dr. Umar on what he knows. The man knows a lot of things. He's very intelligent. I first found out who Dr. Umar was through Hidden Colors, through Tariq Nasheed's film. And he was brilliant. He has good information. He has good ideologies, and how he put things together is very, very good. But people are always going to look for that type of energy if you're going to be a real person. You come up, everybody want that realness. They don't want nobody trying to paint a picture of somebody they're not. Because it's disingenuous. The word he likes to use is very disingenuous. It's not, people are going to feel some type of way. Now, as far as this young lady, even in her voice, you can feel the anger, the hurt. But she don't understand, and this is why he should have been around to help her with this. When you respond to people that way and you have the opportunity to talk, you could have said all that to him, but now it's just becoming a circus, a show, somebody to watch, right? So versus she could have just said, okay, well, let me see what he's talking about. Let's our sister see what he's talking about. If she want to see you, whatever, let's do it behind closed doors. No, she didn't do that. She want to go viral now. Now it's a viral moment. And it still is Dr. Umar's fault, because this all could have been prevented if he just, have that communication drawn in the sand, but he didn't. So here we are. But as for her, she has a lot of growing up to do, and you're going to see her growing up, and what she has become is a result of you not being there. Regardless on how we got there. And I know it's exhausting. A man should not have to take his baby mama or his ex-wife or whoever to court to see his kids. No man should ever do that. No woman should ever do that, because it affects the child more than it does. And I hate that men and women do that, but Dr. Umar, in my opinion, dropped the ball on this one. Does everything he say is a lie based off of this experience? No, he just lied about this experience. And my whole thing is, if you want to come down on black men and you say it's the black man's fault, that don't exempt you. So basically, I'm saying hold your own nuts. You're going to have to take that L because you said it. If he wasn't on here pandering, saying black queens need this, black queens need that, although they do, but you're downing black men, which isn't all, but you're downing the Pookies and Ray Rays about it, and you're doing the same thing, it's always going to make y'all look, it's always going to make you look funny. It just is. So y'all let me know what y'all think about this in the comments below. I'm out.
We in a no hyena zone. Anti-hyena. Race my